You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines: Zambians celebrate toilets. HH finally sues CHILUFYA TAYALI for defamation. Flash floods hit Lusaka. In international news, Bell skipping BUSHIRI forfeits South African home. In sports news, a fast to act on soccer fan who attacked NKANA coach after a 5-0 thrashing by GBFC. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Hello, Mother Zambia. I am your pastor on national matters. We look back and see in the history of this nation, Zambia is a great nation. When we as a nation are facing uncertainty and challenges that threaten our dignity, there are people around us that can help us think. And so on national matters, join me with His Honor, the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Enoch Kavindere. May God bless Zambia.
Join Pastor Victoria and Moses Chilua, the Healing Word Ministries International.
Starting on the 3rd to 6th December 2020.
Dr. Francis Miles from the USA returns to Zambia for a conference on issuing restraining orders.
Because you see, God responds to your revelation. So if you approach God as the healer, He heals you. If you approach Him as your shepherd, He will touch your soul. But if you approach Him judicially, He will show you He's the cause.
Venue: the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Time:
17 hours to 19 hours from Thursday to Saturday.
And on Sunday from 09 hours to 11 hours. For more details, call +260 962 965 883. You do not want to miss this conference this time.
Hello, have you heard about Musika? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, Musika is here. Advertise on Musika between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
Musika, allowing your business to grow.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Government year in and year out promises that floods will be a thing of the past owing to the massive investments being put in place to address the perennial occurrence. But each year, Lusaka especially experiences floods. An hour of heavy rains on Thursday afternoon left the city flooded. A check in Lusaka's Kalingalinga compound revealed a sad situation as several houses were submerged in water. More in this report.
Looks like most residents in some parts of Lusaka will have to spend their night in water after the city experienced heavy downpour in the early afternoon of the 19th of November 2020. A quick check by Camnet TV news crew in some parts of the city found most houses flooded, mainly due to lack of proper drainages. The West East areas were the central business district, the light and heavy industrial areas, including some compounds and township in close proximity to the CBD. The rains, which took approximately an hour, left drainages blocked. Meanwhile, the District Commission was recently featured on Camnet TV News, where he accused the residents of contributing to the problem.
What is the problem is throwing of garbages into these drainages. For instance, Kawe Roundabout. Kawe Roundabout, we have seen of late through the Lusaka City Council, they have been unblocking that area. That means every year we have to unblock, unfortunately. Every year we have to do unblocking. So we have done the unblocking at Kawe Roundabout. Very soon we will be seeing these floods will no longer be there. I'm sure we will wait and see this red season. I know there are other compounds which are normally experiencing this, such as Kanyama and part of Chawama. I can tell you part of Chawama, there are excellent jobs which are being done, especially there are two major drainages. One is coming from the so-called blue water. The other one is coming from the shopping mall. There's that new shopping mall just by the flyover bridge there.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Mines and Mineral Development Minister Richard Musukwa says despite the Zambian government defaulting on its debt last week, it is confident that bondholders will not pounce on its mining assets. Mr. Musukwa says Zambia is currently engaging bondholders on the way forward. The minister further says government has no plans of selling its shares in mining companies to raise cash after the country failed to pay the $42.5 million United States coupon on its Eurobond debt on Friday. More in this report.
Zambia boasts 10% of the world's copper reserves, is the second largest copper producer in Africa and 80th globally, remains one of the world's largest cobalt producer and has the world's largest emerald mine. The mining industry is an important pillar of the economy, contributing about 12% and 75% of GDP and exports, respectively. Mines and Mineral Development Minister Richard Musukwa says the prospects of the mining sector look positive despite the COVID-19 pandemic due to interventions put in place by the government. He says the increase in the commodity prices on the international market have started making positive gains. He feels the rise in copper price will incentivize the mining companies to further increase production output.
A very positive as government that will get a win-win situation between bondholders and government in order to ensure that we continue to move forward and that we don't expect assets, like you said, and which I have also seen in several tabloids. We don't expect Zambian assets to be auctioned or taken away. I want to believe very strongly that we will strike a win-win situation and an agreement with bondholders, because this is a business platform which must be understood with the current challenges which the country has faced.
And Mr. Musukwa said the negotiations with Glencore on increasing the government stake in Mopani as a result of a disagreement with the government over the temporary closure are nearing conclusion.
To that effect, we are very grateful that Glencore has graciously accepted to offer its other remaining shares to ZCCMIH. Now, Glencore is not walking away like leaving the entire structure of the operations which they have put in huge sums easily. No, Glencore will continue to be a partner in the operation at a different platform. I'm sure that when we issue a comprehensive statement about the discussions and the issues that have been going around in terms of Glencore and Mopani, I think that the public will be able to understand now what different roles are going to be played by Glencore, ZCCMIH, and Mopani. So this is in the best interest of our people and the operation. So in terms of having a total shutdown and the collapse of our operation at Mopani, government feels very strongly that this process by ZCCMIH must be supported.
And the minister said the government will continue to create a favorable environment for the mining sector to thrive.
That we provide an enabling environment in order to ensure that investment thrives. In this regard, I am calling on investors and local Zambians to be involved in the exploitation of our resources. We know as a government that shareholders require a fair return on their investment, and they also require fiscal measures that are predictable. And to that effect, the government of the Republic of Zambia will continue to ensure that our fiscal measures for the mining industry continues to be simple, stable, predictable, and anchored on the rule of law. And we will continue to ensure that our doors are open for dialogue with the industry so that, gray areas which
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane has advised government to swallow its pride and turn to the International Monetary Fund (IMF) for an economic bailout. The Zambian government in 2018 said it can survive even without an IMF economic bailout. But Dr. Msokotwane states that the situation Zambia has found itself in requires the assistance of the IMF. Speaking during a press briefing Thursday, Dr. Msokotwane says Zambia's failure to have the program with the IMF has caused a lot of damage to the economy, putting the country's economic reputation in the spotlight. He further says failure to pay lenders their money, Zambia's economic prospects remains bleak, as no lender would want to work with a nation that defaults on its loans.
Because a very important aspect of the economic recovery is about attracting investment in the country, so that mining not only recovers but it expands, so that agriculture, manufacturing, all the sectors, they should be expanding, so that when the economy makes more money, our ability to pay back all these debts that we're talking about, the ability to be enhanced. But to bring about all these investments, you need a country that is a good name, a country that is not known for being bankrupt. So now that we delayed getting to the IMF program, we are known to be a country that is bankrupt. So to attract those investments that we're talking about, now a harder job. It is now a harder job. Therefore, in conclusion, I would say it is necessary for our government to swallow the pride and focus on the key thing. The key thing is to get into a program with the IMF, so that those who owe money can have confidence that we are now doing the things correctly, so that those we are able to approach, those that we approach to attract investments, they will have the confidence that this is the country that is getting back to normal. So government, please, let's swallow our pride. Let's quickly get into an IMF program so that this suffering that we are seeing can come to an end.
Government has appealed to insurance providers to make timely claims payouts on all insurance claims. Ministry of Finance Dr. Walyangandu, represented by Permanent Secretary for Budget and Economics Emmanuel Pamu, says the timely settlement of claims is imperative if the public perception on insurance is to change and bring out confidence in the whole industry. Dr. Pamu says the insurance industry will be judged based on how one company delivers on its insurance promises. The Permanent Secretary was speaking during the opening of the Insurance Association of Zambia, IAZ annual conference Thursday morning, being held under the theme Seizing Opportunities for Growth Amidst Challenging Times. Meanwhile, Acting Registrar of the Pensions and Insurance Authority, Thrasford Chiavula, has emphasized that besides the business motivation, the insurance entities have claimed settlements remains a key mandate. More in this report.
The Insurance Association of Zambia is hosting its 60th annual conference under the theme Seizing Opportunities for Growth Amid these challenging times. Insurance services are critical as they cushion financial losses caused by, among other things, theft, fire, floods, accidents, drought, and the COVID-19 pandemic.
At the opening ceremony of the 60th Insurance Conference, under the theme Seizing Opportunities for Growth Amidst Challenging Times, I would like to congratulate the Zambia Institute, the Zambia insurance sector, for holding its 60th annual insurance conference. The conference is one of the important initiatives that will assist drive the growth agenda of the industry and ultimately increase financial inclusion. A financial sector that is innovative, competitive, resilient, and inclusive in order to have meaningful contribution to economic growth and create wealth for the Zambian people. In pursuing the growth agenda, it is important to know that insurance is the hallmark of any development or developing nation. Ensuring that businesses and individuals are able to recover from financial shocks and misfortunes. It is therefore important that Zambia has a robust insurance sector for us to achieve our developmental goals. The whole industry will be judged based on how one company delivers on its insurance promises. Timely settlement of claims is imperative if the public perception of insurance is to change for the better and bring about confidence in the insurance industry.
Unfortunately, our contribution to GDP is still low. We're sitting at around 2.63%. The insurance industry currently employs in excess of about 3,000 permanent staff, with another 3,000 as agents and sales representatives. And in 2019, the sector paid out a total of 1 billion in claims. Guest of honor, this demonstrates the importance of the sector and the need to ensure that the sector grows.
We need to realize that the pandemic, like COVID-19, has introduced a complexity of risks. And our response as markets should not only be to look for solutions that are only transferring risks, but those that provide long-term resilience. This way, our industry will be contributing to the social and economic development of our agenda. Overemphasize how the delayed payments of claims has had a negative impact in providing traction to our financial inclusion agenda. Delayed settlement of claims is often highlighted as the reasons why people do not take up insurance whenever the authority is conducting insurance awareness campaigns. We therefore need to build trust and confidence in the public. The authority has a renewed commitment on its market conduct mandate.
There is need to therefore up the intake of insurance services if the industry is to increase its contribution to the economy's GDP. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
Government has released 20 million kwacha for the emergency water works in selected peri-urban areas of Lusaka. Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Jonas Chanda has revealed that about 95,000 households will benefit in Kanyama, Chawama, Bauleni, Chipata, Chunga and Garden House areas. The minister announced this in Kanyama Thursday during the commemoration of the 2020 World Toilet Day under the theme Sustainable Sanitation and Climate Change. Meanwhile, Kanyama Member of Parliament Elizabeth Piri says the people of Kanyama still have a huge challenge in accessing safe drinking water and sanitation services. More in this report.
4.2 billion people globally are living without access to safely managed sanitation, according to the United Nations. This is a fact that begs for serious intervention from the powers that be in individual countries. On this day, 19th November, the world commemorates World Toilet Day, which is about taking action to tackle the global sanitation crisis and achieve Sustainable Development Goal number 6 on water and sanitation by the year 2030. Toilets are crucial for the health development of the people. In Zambia, Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection Minister Jonas Chanda led the day in Lusaka's Kanyama compound.
For this year's World Toilet Day is Sustainable Sanitation and Climate Change. Climate change is getting worse. Floods, droughts, and rising sea levels are threatening sanitation systems world over, including here in Zambia, including here in Kanyama, from toilets to septic tanks to treatment plants. Flooding and drought can damage any part of a sanitation system, toilets, pipes, tanks, and treatment plants, spreading raw sewage and creating a public health emergency. We must make our sanitation systems resilient so that they are sustainable as climate change gets worse. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone must have sustainable sanitation alongside clean water and ocean facilities to help protect and maintain our health security.
Dr. Chanda says government has placed high premium on water and sanitation services without leaving anyone behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, my ministry through Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company, with support from the African Development Bank, World Bank, and the German government through KfW and the government of the Republic of Zambia, is implementing the Lusaka Sanitation Project aimed at constructing household toilets that are specifically designed to protect Lusaka's underground water from contamination. And I'm happy to say over 500,000 beneficiaries will benefit from the Lusaka Sanitation Project. Furthermore, the project is expected to provide Kanyama with modern toilets, thereby promoting sanitation and good hygiene practices among the people in the area.
Meanwhile, Kanyama lawmaker Elizabeth Piri says Kanyama compound is still grappling with challenges of safe water and good sanitation facilities.
For a long time, we didn't know the importance of a toilet. To us, the toilet was the least we can talk about. And today people are gathered here because of a toilet. Not a sitting room, not a bedroom, but a toilet. Meaning that the most important room for anybody is a toilet. We are happy, Honorable Minister, to see the first ever sewer line passing through Kanyama, which is being constructed by this government and its cooperating partners.
Sustainable sanitation begins with a toilet that effectively captures human waste in a safe, accessible and dignified setting. It is hoped that Zambia will not wait for the year 2030 to achieve this goal of universal access to clean water and good sanitation. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, the National Water Supply and Sanitation Council, NWASCO, joins the rest of the world in commemorating the World Toilet Day, which falls today. In line with the commemoration, NWASCO Director Kelvin Chitumbo has called for concerted efforts by all stakeholders to support and embrace the development of new technology, transportation, treatment, and disposal of human waste. Mr. Chitumbo says if left unmanaged, the unsafe and unsustainable disposal of human waste would lead to contamination of underground water resources, resulting in diarrheal diseases when consumed.
We wish to call for concerted efforts by all stakeholders to support and embrace the development of new technology that will ensure the safe containment, emptying, transportation, treatment, and disposal of human waste. If left unmanaged, the unsafe and unsustainable management of human waste would lead to the contamination of groundwater resources, which may result in diarrheal diseases when consumed. It is for this reason that NWASCO has developed the urban on-site sanitation and fecal sludge management regulatory frameworks, which were launched in 2018 in an effort to ensure that underground water resources and the environment in general are protected. The regulation will be rolled out in 2021, and water utilities will be required to provide sanitation services to both urban and rural areas. The urban on-site sanitation regulation and fecal sludge management framework will enable NWASCO to extend its mandate to regulate on-site system other than the sewage system. In line with this year's theme of sustainable sanitation, climate change, NWASCO has realized the fact that adverse climate change poses the risk of negative impact on existing sanitation services and also impends progress to achieve access to adequate sanitation, mainly due to scarcity of water that come with climate change.
And moving on in the news, United Party for National Development UPND President Hakainde Hichilema has officially sued Economic and Equity Party leader CHILUFYA TAYALI in Lusaka's High Court for defamation. Mr. TAYALI has accused Mr. Hichilema of dubiously acquiring a house in Lusaka's Charleston area and a farm in Kalomo district of Southern Province. Mr. Hichilema, through his lawyers this week, wrote to Mr. TAYALI asking him to apologize and retract his claims or risk being sued, but he opted not to apologize, saying he was ready to face him in the courts of law. We have more in this report.
The man, who calls himself the public lawyer and claimed to have sufficient evidence to prove his allegations and ensures that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is removed from the ballot papers next year's elections by sending him to prison, has finally been sued in the Lusaka High Court. Economic and Equity Party leader CHILUFYA TAYALI, who refused to apologize or retract his statement within 7 days, has been sued by the UPND leader, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, who is demanding 100 million kwacha has cost for defaming him. Recently, Mr. TAYALI featured on Camnet TV, where he refused to apologize or retract his statement.
During the course of the day, I received a demand letter to asking me to retract what I said, and some I don't know some funny amounts being asked that I should pay. I'll be declared bankrupt. I want to respond to that later. Firstly, if you look at the issues that Mr. Hakainde Hichilema has brought out, he's being very careful in the way that he's responding. If you are not naive, you can actually see the guilt in Mr. Hakainde Hichilema. You can actually see the fear in that letter.
Mr. TAYALI made remarks that the UPND leader should be in jail instead of aspiring for presidential, among other things. In an affidavit filed before court, the UPND leader says he's a highly popular presidential candidate and Mr. TAYALI is a struggling leader of an important political party that attempts to gain its popularity by defaming him. Mr. Hichilema is demanding 100 million kwacha has cost for defaming him. It is alleged that Mr. TAYALI held a press briefing on the 15th of November 2020 on which he accused Mr. Hichilema of having corruptly benefited from the privatization of government assets and deserved to be in jail. Mr. Hichilema, in his affidavit, states that he has never been convicted of any crime offense to warrant him to being in jail. The UPND leader is now demanding that Mr. TAYALI pays him for damage of libel and an order directing that he retract his statement, among other things. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
We take our first set of commercials. To stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets. Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin. City University
University of Science and Technology is inviting application for January 2021 intake in the following programs: degree programs, Bachelor of Science in Public Health, Science and Environmental Health, Secondary Education, Primary Education, Early Childhood Education, Business Administration, Computer Science, Civil Engineering, Electrical Engineering and Mechanical Engineering, Diploma programs, Diploma in Secondary Teachers Education, Early Childhood Education, Registered Nursing, Clinical Medicine, Diploma in Teaching Methodology, Pre-University Foundation Program, Mode of Study, Full-Time e-learning and Open and Distance Learning. For more details, you can contact 0977 457915, 0977 372941 or 0963 918834. City University of Science and Technology, Center and Halls of Excellence.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Imagine living a poor life for 38 years on earth without any hope of a brighter future and without warning. A breakthrough just presents itself on your doorstep. In the book of 2 Peter 3 verse 8, God says he has his own sense of timing. With the Lord, one day is as 1,000 years and 1,000 years as one day. He has perfect timing, never early, never late. God is never in a hurry, but he is always on time. This is the testimony of a 38-year-old marketeer from Chipata district in Eastern Province, Martha Zulu, who has instantly become a millionaire after winning a whopping 2.5 million lottery. Ms. Zulu won the ultimate prize in the Quattro-sponsored Zambia Millions Mobile Lottery. The overjoyed woman explains that she has consistently been participating in the lottery for over 6 months, not until her luck came through. Zamtel has since handed over the mega prize to the woman. Meanwhile, Zamtel Chief Executive Officer Sydney Mupeta says his firm is elated to note that the winner is a Zamtel subscriber.
It's a fair testament that as Zamtel, we continue to provide digital services that improve people's lives. You can agree with me that winning 2.5 million can change your life. I'm therefore encouraging all our customers to participate in this lottery. We are thankful to our shareholder, the Zambian government led by His Excellency President Edgar Chagolungu, who is the board chair of the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC, for the support that the IDC has continued to render to the business, which has enabled the transformation of Zamtel that we are seeing today.
We are happy because everybody wins, because Zamtel wins, we win, GU Group wins, Zamtel subscriber wins, and the government wins. Because I have to say that from the 2.5 million kwacha that Martha won today, Gucci only needs the 1,980,000 because the $500,000 kwacha has already been paid to ZRA as taxes on her behalf. And with Zamtel, we have contributed at the Zambia Millions for withholding taxes up to now during our cooperation 1.3 million kwacha.
Quiet, I thought, these people, is it true? That's trying to use me. Someone back there is trying to use me. So, I think it was on Tuesday when they called me that I'm supposed to come to Lusaka to come and collect my money. And I really thank God for Zambia and Zambian Millions. Because without them, I wouldn't have won such a big amount.
The metal fabrication company ZAMEFA has attributed its losses in the 2020 financial year to non-payment of VAT refunds by the authority, as well as the depreciation of the Zambian kwacha against the United States dollar. In a statement listed on the stock exchange, ZAMEFA says the Payment of VAT has starved the company of the much-needed working capital, which leads to the usage of dollar savings. The company, however, says a significant portion of the overdue amounts were collected from ZRA towards the end of the financial year, reducing the balance outstanding at the end of the year to 96 million kwacha and reducing the group's net US dollars exposure. In addition to the negative impact of the exchange rate volatility, the group's revenue and gross profit in the first 4 months of the year were negatively impacted by the unavailability of copper cathode in Zambia. The company is in the process of concluding its 2020 financial year end results and has signaled to the markets that its loss per share will be between 217% to 237% higher than the previous financial years. Moving on in the news, Citizens' Environment and Social Concern has hailed the government for approving the National Nuclear Policy and its implementation plan, which aims to strengthen the legal, institutional and operational framework of nuclear science and technology in the country. Institution Executive Director Conwell Hakapia says nuclear power is one of the most reliable and environmentally friendly sources of energy that has the capacity to adequately supplement the country's failing hydro energy. He says nuclear stands out as the best solution to hydropower challenges because it produces no harmful greenhouse gases and has perhaps the lowest impact on the environment, including air, land, water and wildlife of any energy source, and not forgetting its many benefits in the technology, health and agriculture sectors.
Would like to commend the government for approving the National Nuclear Policy and its implementation plan, which aims to strengthen the legal, institutional and operational framework of the nuclear science and technology in the country. We must make mention that nuclear power is one of the most reliable and environmentally friendly sources of energy that has a capacity to adequately supplement our failing hydro energy, because it has a capacity factor of close to 100%, and it typically produces as much generation as possible during every single hour of a calendar year, unlike solar and wind power, which purely depends on the weather to produce electricity. Meaning, when the weather is not favorable at a particular time, then electricity production is hampered. Hence, nuclear stands out as the best solution because it produces no harmful greenhouse gases, and perhaps it has the lowest impact on the environment, including air, land, water and wildlife of all energy sources, and not forgetting its many benefits in technology, health and agriculture. So we call for more sensitization, that is to remove myths and fear in the general public about the negatives of nuclear technology, and also we need to translate the sensitization material into local languages for people to fully appreciate the benefits of nuclear technology in our country.
President Edgar Lungu has charged that farming is a key economic activity as it impacts everyone through the entire production chain. The head of state says he is pleased that the people of Eastern Province in particular and Zambia as a whole are geared to start farming activities in this agriculture season despite the effects of COVID-19. President Lungu was speaking at the 2020-2021 national launch of planting in Petauke District, Eastern Province. He says the planting season in agriculture is a critical period which all farmers must take seriously to achieve a good harvest. President Lungu notes that this can only be achieved by the use of quality seed and inputs and knowledge in good agriculture practices. He has since encouraged the farmers to ensure that they get the right seedings from the onset of the farming season. Meanwhile, the head of state has called on all farmers to remain focused and ensure that the country records a good harvest and a fruitful agriculture season in general. Eastern Province is a major producer of crops such as cotton, tobacco and soya beans. Moving on in the news, a humanitarian organization has urged government through the Ministry of Health to sustain the momentum made in the provision of quality healthcare services to Zambians. Born Short Living Tour Executive Director Ntalasha Chisha has observed that there have been positive achievements in the sector, such as the upgrading of clinics to first-level hospitals, as well as the construction of new hospitals and clinics across the 10 provinces of the country. Ms. Chisha says the aspect of taking health services closer to the people has enabled the differently abled persons to access quality healthcare services within their locality without having to travel long distances seeking medical services.
It is evident that the Ministry of Health, under Honorable Dr. CHILUFYA, has scored a lot of positive achievements in the sector, such as the upgrading of clinics to first-level hospitals, as well as the construction of new hospitals and clinics across the 10 provinces of this country. As an organization that deals with the welfare of persons living with disabilities, we are happy that the Ministry of Health has taken health services closer to the people, thereby making it easier for differently abled persons to access quality health services within their locality without having to travel long distances seeking medical services, as was the case in the past. We feel that this is a milestone achievement by the ministry, owing to the fact that even people in rural areas are no longer required to walk long distances in order to access health services. It is the first time in the history of this nation that we are seeing this kind of investment in the health sector, and we can only say thumbs up to the government and to His Excellency the President Edgar Chagwa.
The Siavonga Magistrate Court has sentenced the revenue collector at the Chirundu District Council to 12 months imprisonment with hard labor for corrupt practices involving theft by public servant and fraudulent force accounting. Chirundu Magistrate Evelyn Musonda found Mwanza 30 of Mandanga village in Chirundu guilty of 2 counts of theft by public servant contrary to Section 272. In count 1, details of the offense are that Kabusui Mwansa on dates unknown but between the 1st of June 2017 and 30th April 2018 in Chirundu, being a public officer, namely general worker for the Chirundu District Council, attached to the accounts office as cashier, jointly and whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did steal money in the sum of 1,480 kwacha, property of the Chirundu District Council, a matter that concerns the Chirundu District Council, a public body. In count 2, Kabusui Mwansa on dates unknown but between the 1st of June 2017 and 30th of April 2018 in Chirundu with intent to defraud, made a false entry of 20 kwacha on a duplicate copy of a receipt number 91338 dated 21st December 2017 to the Chirundu District Council, a matter or transaction that concerns the Chirundu District Council, a public body. When the matter came up for commencement of trial, the accused informed the court that he wished to change his plea from not guilty to guilty. He was accordingly convicted on both counts on his own admission and sentenced to 12 months imprisonment with hard labor on each count, suspended for 12 months. This is contained in a statement issued to Camnet TV News by ACC Public Relations Manager Timothy Mono. On that note, we take our second set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customer service @lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, a magistrate in South Africa has ordered the seizure of a home of millionaire Malawian preacher Shepherd Bushiri and his wife Mary after they skipped bail. The home, which is near the capital of Pretoria, is valued at 5.5 South African rands, according to local media. A magistrate has ordered them to hand over the title deed of the property when they were granted bail on charges of money laundering and fraud. The couple deny the charges. It emerged last week that they fled to their home country of Malawi. The pastor said they had made a tactical withdrawal because they feared for their lives. South Africa has issued an arrest warrant for the couple and wants Malawi to extradite them. Meanwhile, Malawi's self-styled prophet Shepherd Bushiri and his wife have been unconditionally released by a magistrate in the capital, Lilongwe, following their arrest on Wednesday. South Africa has demanded the couple's extradition after they skipped bail. Bushiri and his wife have been charged in South Africa, where they lived with money laundering and fraud. Their lawyer, Wapoma Kita, asked the court to release the two unconditionally, saying the arrest had been illegal. The state prosecutor had asked the court to allow police to keep the couple in custody for a further 30 days to allow the South African government to formally submit an extradition request. Mr. Kita said it was illegal to arrest them before the South African made a formal extradition request. We now get into sports news. The Football Association of Zambia, FAZ, has noted with concern the events surrounding the FAZ MTN Week 5 fixture between Green Buffaloes and NKANA at Nkoloma Stadium, where an unidentified soccer fan breached all security protocols to attack NKANA coach Manfred Chivinga, triggering a fight back from the NKANA bench. FAZ General Secretary Adrian Kashala says the incident in particular is saddening, coming on the day fans made a return to the terraces after 8 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The FAZ General Secretary says the fan who breached the security protocols will be found and handed over to police for criminal trespass. Kashala said Green Buffaloes Football Club and NKANA Football Club will be summoned for possible sanctions over inadequate security and violent conduct respectively. Green Buffaloes defeated NKANA 5-0 on Wednesday in a Week 5 tie that marked the return of the spectators to the stadium after government gave the green light for fans to do so. This is according to a statement made available to Camnet TV News by FAZ Communications Manager Sydney Mugala. Let's have a look at what happened.
Let's see what's happening here. There is something extraordinary going on. A fan is onto the pitch and he went direct to Manfred Chivinga with for unknown reasons. But where are the police? Where are the stewards? They need to control the situation here because this is uncalled for, of course. So one fan came in and bottles have started being thrown on the pitch. I can see one player from Green Buffaloes there has been hit with a bottle of beer. So Ghana fans, if they are not careful, this is the first match, of course, being played with fans on the pitch. But with this kind of behavior, anything can happen, of course. So we may witness, teams being banned bad in terms of fans again, because this is uncalled for, of course. So like I was saying, there was one fan from NKANA who seems to be frustrated. He ran onto the pitch, went direct to where Coach Manfred Chivinga was seated. He grabbed the chair, he tried to hit him with it, but the technical bench from NKANA reacted. So the police should also come into play because they're not helping. So NKANA fans on the other side of the camera are throwing some bottles of beers, of water on the pitch, expressing their displeasure and hunger with how their team is performing. But of course the coach has nothing to do with the performance on the other side because the players are the ones who are playing. The coach is just issuing instructions. But this is uncalled for in as far as football is concerned. Sportsmanship is always around. NKANA fans, we know what they are capable of. They are one of N's fans in the Zambian Super League. So what is going on here? Play has been stopped temporarily by the referee, and the NKANA fans are furious, of course, even as Diamond Chikwekwe. I love how I'm pronouncing this name. Yeah, so even as Diamond Chikwekwe has gone there. So it's a red card for the coach. And unfamiliar circumstances because he reacted to the fan who came on the pitch. So Manfred Chivinga has been given matching orders. Yeah, Manfred Chivinga has been given matching orders after that reaction to one of the fans who ran onto the pitch. So the match commissioner there having a word with the referee of the day in making sure that everything is calmed down, everything is back to normal. So in the meantime, we're gonna see the technical bench from NKANA without Manfred Chivinga, who has been given matching orders. It's unfortunate that this has happened in this situation, but of course he was also trying to protect himself because anything could have happened at that particular time. We know how fans are sometimes, very unruly, but due to fair play situation, because the coach rather reacted to that fan who ran onto the pitch. It's a red card for Manfred Chabinga. So the card cannot be reversed, cannot be returned. It has already been issued. So some of the technical staff, like Joseph Musonda, they are having a word with Dana Chikotesha, who is the first assistant here at Nkoloma Stadium. So it's many conferences, of course, going on around here. Play has been temporarily stopped because of what we witnessed a few minutes ago. So Green Buffaloes players there, you know, they don't have anything for now because they are leading. We are talking about a 3-goal scoreline in favor of Green Buffaloes. So it's of course a sad day. We are witnessing the first match being played with fans being allowed in the stands, but with this kind of behavior.
Quite interesting there. Well, that sports item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Zambians celebrate toilets. HH finally sues CHILUFYA TAYALI for defamation. Flash floods hit Lusaka. In international news, Bell skipping BUSHIRI forfeits South African home. And in sports, fast to act on soccer fan who attacked NKANA coach after a 5-0 thrashing by GBFC. The Camnet World Verse of the Day is coming from the book of Psalms 119 verse 11, and it reads, "Your word I have hidden in my heart so that I may not sin against you." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.